You can choose to do this code proc SQL with about 50 lines of code. If you have big data with lots of variables, you need to work with the formats and whatnot. Or you could do this SAS Flow. If you're familiar with Enterprise Guide within SAS Viya, it's a very similar option for working with our data graphically. So if you don't know how to code, that's fine. You can drag and drop these little notes here and it will do the same thing for you. It's amazing. In this instance, I have two data tables. I'm doing a join on together, full join. I could do a left join, I could do a right join, but I'm not here to talk to you about joins. I'm here to tell you about what happens when you're working with this data here in SAS Studio, but then you want to go use it in another SAS Viya application. Often you have to use data that is loaded into CAS or loaded into memory. If you don't know what that means, don't worry. With SAS Viya, we're working in the cloud, so we have different versions of data readily available, but takes up memory or is kind of stored and is asleep and you have to wake it up. It's different than just working with a CSV or just coding with hard-coded file paths. Now we have to deal with working with data in the cloud. So when you're creating a new data table, you might need to figure out how the heck do I put it into the cloud again or save it back to CAS. Once you make this new data table here as a result of your query, I can take a look at this preview. It looks beautiful, but right now it's stuck in SAS Studio land and I can't go use it in Visual Analytics if I wanted to make a report. I have to do some CASUTIL code to get it up there and load it into memory. This is always something that when I started coding in SAS Viya, I would always be like, oh darn, what is this code again? And I'd always go back and reference another piece of code and I'd copy and paste it. And so I determined to do this quick trick to always have this code on hand because it's one piece I will always use. So if you go to options, we have your auto exec file. Yes, there might be an easier way to do this, but this is what I do. This is my little trick. I keep this snippet of code commented out so it doesn't actually run, but it's in my auto exec file. So anytime I go to create a new code or a new flow, I always have it. And so let's kind of explain what's going on here in this code. This first chunk, it's an if statement. It's asking to look for a data table that may or may not already exist in my CASLIB, which in this case, I'm using my CAS user library. And I'm saying if it does, drop the table because I might want to re-up a newer version of this table. And in this case, I am then loading in the data. I'm going to have the replace options. That way, if it already is saved up there, I'm going to override it with this newer version of the data that I want to save up there. We have the data in there ready to go and I can use it in my other applications. Another little trick here, this output table, the name of it, it's something crazy. There's some crazy parameters that in the background just gets assigned to. All you need to know is to call that data from the previous output table. You do this macro ampersand underscore input one. And that's kind of another little hidden trick you just got to know as you start to work in this interface. But let me know if you have any questions or comments or concerns or what other frustrations do you have if you're working in this environment, and have a great day.